It's only
Only
two
positive.
days until Thanksgiving, so it's time to take out your turkeys and start your preparations.
It's Turkey Tuesday, and joining us now is personal chef Bill Collins from chefbill.com. Look at this turkey. It's just beautiful.
It's a lovely turkey, and believe me, this is a tough act to follow after Seth's beard. So I'll try, if we can bring Thanksgiving back to it.
The best part is on Tuesday we're trimming this, but today we're going to be trimming this.
Yes, and then in a month we'll be trimming the tree. So I see the theme that we're
so
going
much
on.
trimming
Yes.
will be going on this season.
Exactly. And first of all, though, I do want to mention that this turkey and the food today all came from our friends at Whole Foods in Hadley.
Thank you.
And it's a lovely turkey. And so we're going to start off actually by talking about getting ready, some of the tips to avoid, things to avoid, having the turkey ready so it can be as stress-free as possible.
We're prepping our bird.
Yes.
Right, because we all know those mistakes that are very common,
Yes.
and you want to be sure that you avoid them.
Exactly. And so the first thing, and I always tell everybody, and this did not come from this bird, but I keep a collection of these because I have nothing else to do, is a little pop-up thermometer that comes in so many turkeys.
It's important to have hobbies.
It is important to have a hobby, and this is my favorite one, is don't even use it. Take it out of the bird, because my theory, and I base this only on the little voices in my head, is that when the turkey, this pops up, it's already overcooked. I think the breast meat is too done, it's too dry, so just take the turkey's temperature. And the way you want to do that is with an instant read thermometer. We'll get to that after. But just avoid that and better things will happen.
Okay.
Now, the two big problems that come up in Thanksgiving, I hear this all the time, is the turkey is done too soon, or you're ready to sit down and the turkey's not ready. So the best thing to do, if it's done too soon, still take it out, let it rest. Let it sit out on the board for a while anyway. If you've got an hour or two, or sometimes even 3, these could be shockingly fast. Or if your timing is off, here's what you want to do. After it's rested a bit, carve the turkey, even as though it was just before the meal. Carve it, put it in a roasting pan. Put in not even an inch or so of, it could be chicken stock, turkey stock. Put some liquid in there, cover it with foil. About a half hour, 40 minutes before you're ready to sit down and eat, pop it in the oven, and it'll get it warm again. It'll keep it moist because you've got the foil lid on, you've got the liquid in there, as opposed to just throwing it in the oven. It'll dry out. That's what you want to do if it's done too soon. How about if you start carving and you find that, especially this always happens, or when it happens, it'll be with the dark meat, the thigh meat on the bottom, you'll find that it's still a bit undercooked. Continue carving because the rest of it will be done. Take the thighs, leave the meat on the thighs, pop them in the oven, not even 10 minutes because they're almost cooked. Just finish them up because the oven's going to be on, it's going to be filled with your side dishes anyway. So that way you'll have everything ready, continue carving, and you're good to go.
Let's take it from the beginning. We get our turkey, we bring it home. I've actually made this mistake before, and if my wife's watching, she's about to start laughing. We cooked it with all of the gizzards and everything inside in this protective bag.
Yes, now, that's not the terrible thing it used to be.
No.
Because they used to be in plastic bags, so now you're cooking this plastic bag in your turkey for many hours. They're now paper-type bags, so if you do leave the giblets in there, not the end of the world. It's not preferable,
No.
but it's not the end of the world. Because also, they'll cook through as well, so it's not like you've got something undercooked in there. Now, what happens if you reach your hand when the turkey is still raw and look for the giblets in the cavity? It's not there. Because with the chicken and other poultry, that's where the giblets would be, and you think to yourself, well, this turkey just didn't have any. Chances are with the turkey, it's at the other end, underneath the flap there. You don't have to dig too far, it's sitting right there. And that's the mistake people make because it's just once a year and they don't think, I should look at the other end. So that's the neck end, so look there.
And you never know, someone might like to just nibble on a turkey neck if you cook it, right?
Exactly, because not only is it great
What kind of
nibbling.
Thanksgivings do you go
I don't know
to?
if you have an uncle that likes turkey neck. Who
Oh,
knows?
my dad loved the turkey neck.
See?
But also,
We're going to use it for gravy, though, later.
that's exactly it. It has a good use. So those are just some of the pre-preparation things to do. Another thing to do is if you do have a frozen turkey, by now you should already have it in your fridge to thaw out because it goes at a thawing out rate of about 4 pounds a day. So if you have a 16-pound turkey,
okay.
you should have hopefully Sunday, even Saturday, because it's not going to go bad. Take it out, pop it in the fridge, and it will thaw out slowly.
Now, Bill, Adam on Facebook was wondering, can you stuff stuffing inside of the turkey before you bake it?
Or should you?
Well, the definition of how long before. You don't want to do it the night before.
Okay.
You can do it maybe up to an hour or so before. The reason you don't want to do it way ahead of time is there are eggs in there. and also you don't want it sitting out. It's less messy. Mix up your stuffing. You can mix the stuffing up the day before, but before you put it in the oven, not too much longer before. Do it that way. You don't want to do it way ahead of time, because then you start mixing up your little foodborne illness possibilities.
Right.
So best to not do it way ahead.
But do you suggest doing that at all? Do you think that's a nice touch?
Oh, it's a very nice touch, because now here's the difference. Now you've got stuffing and you've got dressing. And the difference between the two is it could be the exact same stuff, but it's stuffing when it goes in the bird, and when it's outside the bird, it's called dressing. The advantage of putting it in the bird is that it gets more of a great flavor. You got the turkey juices in there. They're not going to taste the same if it's on the dish or inside the bird. So that's one advantage. A disadvantage, if you call it that, a disadvantage is that it takes a bit longer. So it could be even up an hour longer because it's got to heat and there's more stuff to cook there. So it's at about 5 minutes or so a pound longer for cooking the turkey.
Okay, so that's the answer when it comes to stuffing the bird with
Yes.
stuffing or dressing when it's out of the bird.
Yes.
We have a caller on the line right now.
Yes.
That has a turkey question. Hello?
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 Hey, what's happening?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, who are we talking with?
Jamel?
Hello, Mel.
Hey, what's happening? So, do you have a turkey question for us?
Yeah.
And
Ask away.
Lay it on
how
us.
can we help you?
All right. So it might be an easy one, though, or maybe it's a silly question. So if I got a brined turkey,
Yes.
I bought the brined turkey at the store. I didn't brine it myself, but if I have a brined turkey, how long do I have to cook it? Is it stuffed?
The answer is about 20 minutes per pound. The brining, it doesn't matter based on the brining how long it takes to cook it. The brining is going to add some moisture and add a bit more flavor to it. So cook it for the same amount of time. If it's unstuffed, about 15 minutes a pound. If it's stuffed, about 20 minutes a pound. Do it at 325 degrees, and you want to roast it until the internal temperature is 170 or so degrees. It could be a little under, a little over.
They told me at the store that I can't cook a brine, or I can't stuff a brine turkey.
Yes, you can. I've never heard that before, and because that doesn't change the composition of the turkey. So they might be mistaken. I haven't heard that before, because if the turkey is cooked all the way through, it doesn't matter if it was brined beforehand. So you're good. So that's what I would do.
That'd
So
be
go
good.
ahead.
I'd like to do a beer can turkey at some point.
Oh, that'll be saved for
didn't
another
we do
day.
that last year?
We done beer can chicken. But we didn't.
Oh.
Well, see, so Jamel, listen to Chef Bill.
Yep.
Stuff your brine turkey, and thank you for calling in, and I hope it works and turns out great. Take a picture and send it to us.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Jeez.
All right.
Thank you so
If you have a
much.
question, you can post it on our Facebook, or you can call in 413-377-2001. We're going to be taking your questions all show long.
And I know everyone's talking about the weather,
Oh.
and we have Marge on
We
the
do.
line.
Marge, what's happening? What's your question for Chef Bill?
Hi, Chef Bill. How are you?
Good, Marge. How are you?
Good. I heard that putting mayonnaise on the turkey skin makes it crispier and the color nicer. Is that correct?
I must confess I have never heard that. However, I would not say that it's not true. And let me tell you why. Because one of the things by putting, because there is oil in the mayonnaise, I put olive oil on my turkey. Some people go with the melted butter, and that helps with the browning. And because the skin is so, for lack of a better word, fatty, fat-laden. I don't know that the mayonnaise would not work. I think it's a clever idea. I wouldn't put too thick of a coating on it. But what I would do is I would keep an eye on it. If you are going to be doing that, keep an eye on it, especially if you go in to baste the turkey. Check it, especially after the first hour or so. Check it
Okay.
to make sure that is not burning. I think it's a clever change. Pardon?
No, I didn't say nothing.
Oh, I think it's a really clever idea. So thank you.
Okay.
I think you should go ahead and do that.
Okay, thank you very much,
Okay,
Chef Bill.
thanks, Marge.
Bye.
Nice.
Thanks, Marge. Thank you, Chef Bill.
Thank you. That's
Put
a
some
clever
mayonnaise
one.
on your turkey. Why
Mayonnaise.
not?
That's not a bad idea, because people do the butter thing and all that jazz. Welcome back to Mass Appeal. It's your turkey call-in show. Give us a call if you have any turkey-related questions. Ashley
Turkey
might
Tuesday.
even dance. It's Turkey Tuesday. We have Josh online. Josh has a turkey-related question. Lay it on us, Josh.
Hey, what's up? I'm just wondering how you make your turkey so crispy.
A couple of things. It's the skin you want crispy, and actually, let me tell you how it doesn't get crispy. A lot of times you've got oven bags, which help with cleanup, but it almost steams the turkey. So you want to avoid both bags and some of those turkey roasters that have the pans that have the cover on top, the small little things. What you want is the full oven in a roasting pan, so the heat is circulating around. Now, what might happen as the turkey cooks after a few hours, it might be looking a little dark. Put tinted foil over it. That will not keep it from getting crispy, but it'll keep it from burning. But the way you want to do is have the direct heat of the oven on it. Avoid the roasting bags and avoid those little roaster pans that have a lid on it, because if a lid's on it, steam is going to circulate and keep the skin from being crispy.
Did that answer
How's
your
that?
question?
That work okay, Josh?
Yep. Thank you.
Thank
Happy
you.
Thanksgiving.
Have a good-
So that number, 413-377-2001. Give us a call. We're here all hour long, but for now, we're making some gravy.
We're gonna make some gravy, but first we had a quick question for two questions from Charlotte and Ellie. On one is the stuffing. How much longer do you keep the bird in if it's stuffed? About 5 minutes a pound. So you go from 15 minutes a pound unstuffed to about 20 minutes a pound stuffed. You still want the turkey to be cooked all the way through, so check the temperature when you do that. The other question is, we discussed earlier with Adam's question on having stuffing the bird the night before. You don't want to do that. Yes, you can, however, clean the bird out the night before. Rinse it out. Don't need Dr. Tim's way of doing soap,
Don't use
but
the
rinse
soap.
it and rinse out the cavity inside and then pat it dry. You can do that the night before.
Okay, great. And what was that Ellie's? And did Charlotte have a question?
That
as
was
well?
both, actually, those
Oh,
are two
both.
questions. On
He's
the
that
cleaning.
good.
Got it. Want to make sure we get everyone's question answered.
Exactly. So now the reason I had this up in the air is I've got these the burners on, and this is the key part of making any kind of gravy. And what you're doing is these are the pan drippings, and this is when you're cooking a steak or anything like that. You get all the little stuck bits in the bottom of the pan.
Yep.
With your Thanksgiving turkey, this is what's going to turn your gravy from being, oh, that's pretty good, to wow, because this is the deeper turkey flavor for your stuffing. So what you want to do is across 1 or 2 burners.
For your stuffing or for your gravy?
I'm sorry, did I say stuffing? For
You
the
said
gravy.
stuffing, but I'm with
Thank
you, and I'm trying to, trying to learn.
My brain just collided with itself. So what you want to do is put it on a high heat, and you see how it's really look like it's going to start burning, but it's not. It's really bubbling along.
Okay.
You want to take some of your turkey stock. If you don't have turkey stock, you can use chicken stock. That's okay. So what you want to do is, with a wooden spoon, start splashing a little bit on there, and see how it all comes right up like that.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and that is what's going to be going into your gravy.
It's nice too. You're also cleaning your pan simultaneously.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're going to do it anyway, right?
Yeah, now, because a lot of people figure, well, this is just the stuff that's burned onto the pan. I don't need this. I'll just wash
is
the pan.
gold right here.
That gold is the right word. This is where all of your flavor is. And the reason you want to use a wooden spoon is some of it might be on there a little bit tightly and a little stuck a little bit, so just you can scrape right away on it. And now this is ready to go into your saucepan. So Ashley, if I can ask you to hold this up. Well, actually, I'm going to put this pan right here, and I'll tip it first. I'll get all the good stuff out first, and I'm going to tip it like that.
Okay.
And actually, if you can take this green spatula from right in front of me,
Yes.
and take all of this stuff. I know it's away from the camera, but I'm not ambidextrous enough.
I think we can kind of
I'll
see.
narrate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, what Ashley's doing is scraping everything down and into the
This
pot.
is where the flavor is, right? We don't want
exactly.
to lose any of these little bits here.
Exactly, because if we had just poured off all that good stuff, we'd still have some stuff left in the pan.
So that's where you can, bring the family together and help you cook.
Exactly. So now this is the beginning of the sauce and of your gravy.
Gravy.
So now I'm going to put more in there, and I'm going to bring that to a simmer. So while that's coming to its simmer, there are a couple of things that we need to do next. One is the giblets. And a lot of people don't like the giblets. What the giblets are,
I wonder why.
because some people think they look kind of gross.
You want to try a bite, Ashley?
No?
Okay.
But this is just the neck. People are generally fine with the neck. That's a great face. Because,
Thank you.
but the neck, this is just the meat that you would have ordinarily from the bird. And what I like to do is take this off. You wait till it cools down a little bit and just pop that in the gravy, and that's going to give you some more body in the gravy. Meanwhile, we're waiting this to come to a simmer. Seth, can I ask you a big favor?
Sure.
I've got 2 containers right over there I forgot to bring up front here. Because what's going to happen, this will be boiling in just a moment. The next step is, right now, we've got something that's kind of a watery-ish gravy. We've got turkey flavor, we've got turkey stock in there, and when it comes to a boil, we're going to say, we want that a little bit thicker. See, this is not, that's nice, but that's not what you want for Thanksgiving gravy.
Right.
There are a few ways to thicken it, and the biggest way is called a slurry. And that is, the two popular ones are combining flour with water, 1 part flour, 2 parts water, or the same ratio with cornstarch. What's the difference? Well, flour is going to give you a nice thick look. They're both going to give you a good thickness, but the cornstarch is almost like a glassy look to it. Sort of like Chinese food sometimes.
So that's just a little different. Okay,
Yep.
we're out of time for this segment. So we'll come back.
Yep.
If you have any questions, please call us, 413-377-2001. Chef Bill will answer them, not Seth or I. We might give you a funny answer. It may not be right. You can also post your questions on our Facebook page. We are back in the kitchen with personal chef Bill Collins from chefbill.com, and it's your opportunity to call in and get your turkey questions answered.
Yeah. So we caller on the line. Peter, I believe, is calling from Florida, and I imagine that means he must be watching us on mymassappeal.com because we live stream this show every single day on WWLP.com. Peter, what is your question?
My question is how long can you safely keep the turkey meat on the carcass before you run into problems?
Well, that's actually 2 questions. The one is, the basic one is, you can keep it on the carcass for a number of days, but you want to put it in the refrigerator no more than 2 hours or so after after it's come out of the oven. That's a general rule of thumb with any food. You don't want it sitting out for more than 2 hours. The meat can stay on the carcass, that's okay, but you want to refrigerate it. So it's not a matter of letting it sit out or not on or off the bone. You want to refrigerate it whether it's off the bone or not.
Great
Right,
question.
and I remember growing up, my mother used to always say, make sure you get the stuffing out of the carcass right away.
You want to do that shortly after it comes out of the oven. You don't want it sitting in there for an hour or so. It's best, what I like to do is take it out immediately, put it in a bowl, put some foil over it to keep it warm, and you're good to go.
Peter,
Okay.
yeah?
Thanks for your help. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you,
Happy
too, Peter.
Thanksgiving,
To you.
Peter.
Thank you.
Thanks for live streaming us, too. By the way, everybody can do that if you're at work or something like that. Shall we carve up a turkey?
Let's carve up the turkey. So I am going to, now a lot of people, there was one of the questions was, do I prefer an electric carving knife or what? I actually prefer a 6-inch utility knife. It's smaller, you can go around the bones, because I like to think of carving a turkey as taking apart a jigsaw puzzle. Let me show you what I mean. Each of the wings, the thighs, and the legs, the bones meet at a joint. So what you want to do is you want to look for the joint. And here's what you want to do. You don't need to go carving all over the place to find it. What you want to do, I'm doing this sideways, is you cut into it and it pulls away. And as it pulls away, you can see right there, that's where the joint meets, and you can cut right down and take it apart.
That is easy.
It is. So, and you can do that with all of the bones. I'm going to show this again this way without trying to cut my arm off, because I was cutting across myself.
Please don't. Have you signed the release form?
The question is also, how long do you wait before carving?
Yeah.
And you can give it a half an hour or so, because once it comes out of the oven, it's going to be screaming hot. Let it sit, get your gravy together, get a few other things together, and then you can carve it. It's still going to be very warm after half an hour, because it's been in there for quite a while.
Smells amazing right now.
So now what you want to do is you're going to turn the turkey over, and you want to lift the wing up a little bit, and just like we did with the drumstick, you want to cut around, because you know the joint is in there somewhere. And as you pull it apart, it's going to evidence itself again. And again, with the smaller knife, see, there it is, and it comes right off.
So it's a similar device.
Yes, it is. And so now I'm going to, because it's so big, I'm just going to cut the wing down like that, break it apart.
How many pounds is this turkey?
This is a 10-pound turkey.
Oh.
So this is probably on the average side for people's Thanksgiving dinners?
It is, and the thing is, for Thanksgiving, a lot of times also, people figure, as a rule of thumb for most meals, you're going to have anywhere from 4 to 5 to 8 ounces of meat or protein per person. But in the case of Thanksgiving, it's actually going to be less, because there's so much food.
All the side dishes. So you want to budget maybe, what, a half a pound per person?
Well, yes, but then you want to increase that amount again, because it's all about the leftovers, too.
That's true.
So
let's call it a pound per person. Call
Sure,
it a day.
why not? So now you've got the thigh right here, and just as we did before with the other two, with the wing and the drumstick, you pull that apart, and you see there's the bone right there. And so you're going to cut around here. If you can move your hands a little bit, I'd hate to stab you.
No problem. And you know what? Don't wear your Thanksgiving best because there may be some turkey flying around. And
You know, that's why people need aprons, like the one that you can get at the Handmade Holiday Festival.
that's right.
Exactly. Now, what you might also have noticed is how it's not pink down around there. Sometimes it's pink, it's a little undercooked. How can you tell when the turkey is done? And one of the things I meant to do before I took the leg off is you want to stick your instant read thermometer right down there into the thigh. And you want that to come up anywhere between 165 and 175 degrees.
Okay.
And that way, you know it's going to be just fine. And that way, also, as you let it sit for at least half an hour, what's going to happen is it's going to continue to get warmer. It's going to continue to cook. The temperature will continue to rise. Now, sometimes, as you can see, this meat is cooked through, but it's still a little pinkish. Sometimes that happens at the bone, but that is cooked through. You can tell by touching that.
And now the breast. How do we carve it down the middle? Is that right?
A
First?
lot of people, like to do the long slices. I prefer to do it differently. It's called a hotel cut. And what you want to do is, with the smaller knife, is make your first cut right along the bone. And I'm going to turn the knife around, and I'm going along the bone like that. I'm following the contour of the carcass. Try saying that quickly. So now that I've done that, I'm going to slowly start to push it away a little bit. And as I push it away, I'm going to continue to follow down the contours. And you see how the knife comes through at the bottom?
Yeah, and it kind of follows the natural curvature of the rib cage. too.
That's exactly what it is. And so, that sounds much better than contour of the carcass.
Thank you.
And so now we've got it's off completely. I'm going to take this other knife and just make my slices. And an advantage of this is you've got smaller pieces. There's so much food. People can take more, but if you put a big slice on their plate, you'll end up wasting a lot.
That's a great point. A lot of small cuts.
As a kid, I always got that huge slab of turkey, and I was like, what is my dad thinking? I always ate it all because I have a huge appetite.
Of course.
But it was always a huge slice.
Now, Chef Bill, we still have more questions coming in. You should stick around all day, my friend, and just hang out in the office with us.
We
and
could do
answer
that.
Questions.
We could do that.
Sounds good. We've got all the food that we need, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back with some gravy questions and more. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Mass Appeal. We're back with personal chef, Chef Bill. We're going to rapid fire some questions at you that we have been getting from the internet. How do you make your gravy not lumpy?
What you want to do is, I talked about making that slurry earlier. What you want to do is to whisk it, and I had my whisk here a moment ago.
It's missing.
But whisk it. No, don't need it, because what you want, whisk it first. If you just spoon it together with a spoon, it's going to have lumps. Whisk it till the lumps come out.
Okay, there you go. There's the answer.
Yep.
Now, you finished carving up the turkey. This is all that's really left on the cutting board.
Yes.
And it's all on the platter ready to go.
It's all ready to go. You can make it as artful and decorative as you want. I took the dark meat off the thighs, and we've got the white meat and a couple bones, stuff to gnaw on, plus some Brussels sprouts. And actually, we've got some gravy here. I'm just going to pour some over a little bit.
Beautiful.
Lather it on.
We had a question earlier about how I did not skim the fat off the turkey, off the pan, and that's because it was so lean and so flavorful. But the leanness, there wasn't any fat really on there. Sometimes there are. What you want to do is just skim it off to give you more flavor.
Next question: can you cook your turkey upside down?
I've seen it done. There's so many techniques out there for cooking turkeys, different temperatures. The short answer is do what technique works for you. Some people rotate the turkey every half hour, every hour, so it's cooking evenly all over the place. Yes, you can. It's not going to be as pretty because it's be a little bit flattened, but you can cook it any way that works for you.
My question: the number one way to retain moisture in a turkey, is it brining it or cooking it with the tent on it?
Yes. There isn't a number one way. There's so many variables. Brining helps. Putting the tent on helps. Doing it in a bag helps. I talked earlier, or a complete cover on it because you're also steaming it a little bit. Go with the fresher the bird, the moisture it's going to be. A frozen bird can often be a little bit drier. So there's so many variables. But basting it always helps. We had a question about that. How do you baste? You buy one of these basters, and the way it works is you put it in, and you squeeze it, and you pull it out. And you let go, and up comes the liquid this way. And then you just go over the breast and over the legs just to keep it moist in the oven.
How often do you have to baste it?
Baste it, I usually let it go for the first hour without basting it, every 15-20 minutes or so. Again, just to keep it moist, to keep the skin from drying out, but it'll still be good.
Okay.
But we also had a question on using birds other than turkey, game birds, whether it be a pheasant, whether it be all kinds of different ones, grouse. And the answer is you could do it the same way. The important thing is the internal temperature, about 165, 175 degrees. Check the same place at the thigh. That will tell you, regardless of how you're cooking it, that will tell you whether it's done or not.
Now, we have a web-exclusive recipe. It's these Brussels sprouts. Tell us about them.
Caramelized some onions first. Took the onions out of the pan. I browned the Brussels sprouts in the pan, got a little bit brown. Threw in some chicken stock and put a lid on so that I continue to cook them through. That way, the Brussels sprouts are nice and soft, and I like to say mushy almost, as opposed to sometimes they can be just so firm. So it's got a nice mouthfeel. The caramelized onions makes them sweeter. You can throw other things like bacon and cranberries. You can throw all kinds of other things in it as well. Give it any flavor you want.
So that's exclusively on mymassappeal.com. Speaking of web exclusives, we finish up our